Peace, members of Veterans for Peace pledge to use nonviolent means
and to maintain an organization that is both democratic and open,
with the understanding that all members are trusted to act in the best interests of the group
for the larger purpose of world peace.
red leather, yellow leather.
Let's go scrolling. Here we go. Ready, get set, action.
We will use our anger at injustice as a positive, non-violent force for change.
We will approach every encounter with fellow members and the public with positivity and mindfulness.
And with the assumption that concerns raised are coming from a positive place
and present a learning opportunity.
Our attitude,
as conveyed through our words,
symbols, and actions,
will be one of openness, friendliness,
and respect towards all people we encounter.
All members have an important role to play in Veterans for Peace.
Regardless of previous military rank, branch, or combat experience,
we will respect one another as equal parts of a whole.
We will not assault verbally, in person, or online anyone.
We're live. Live, guys.
Hello.
Broken Thrones crew. Yeah. Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
Night. Just the four of us.
Just the four of us.
We can make it if we try.
There ain't no more of us.
Clever.
Just gonna get
Very
real
clever.
high.
Who are we?
So we're the Broken Thrones crew, aren't we?
Yeah.
At
I
least
don't know.
a broken portion of the Broken Thrones crew.
Ha.
Does Pacifist War Vet want to join us on the Zooms? Is it too much? What do you got going on here, Chris?
I don't know. That might make
Yeah, it could be a problem.
Zoomerific a little tougher, huh?
What?
Chris.
What?
Sin already made all these overlays, and I'm trying.
And it's perfectly spaced and laid out.
What's wrong? What?
It looks horrible on Twitch.
What do you?
Made you look.
I'm so-
Oh, I was going to say rude.
Well, I can't. Well, actually, I can't see shit on Twitch.
No. I'm
But
sitting here.
that's
I'm
me,
like,
not you.
I'm closing windows that I don't need anymore right now because we're chilling tonight. Gonna have this like fireside, not fireside chat. Gonna be really fun.
That reminds me, somebody sent a picture the other day or a video, and they had like a fireplace going in the background, like just one of those like fake fireplaces, and it's like 100 degrees outside.
Well, maybe they sent it from New Zealand or something.
No, right up the freaking street. Sorry, Chris.
No, you're good.
Who are you talking? Like, why don't you introduce yourself first before you pull out some fireside chat stuff?
I know. I'm Sincerely V, also known as Chris, with Gamers For Peace and Veteran For Peace member. Really happy to be here. Toss it over to Rep. I was just trying to intro and have you pass it off to you faster before I introduce myself.
TJ,
I am still confused about the the shuffling window thing. That's what confused me right there.
Oh, you probably didn't hear me inviting Pacifist War Vet to jump in on the Zoom and mess up your overlays.
Nope, that's what I missed. Okay, I was stuck on that.
And then TJ heard squirrel.
I am Rep or Paladin Dad or Garrett, and I'm the Executive Director of Veterans for Peace and a Gamers for Peace member. And I'm usually the Dungeon Master in this Broken Thrones game, but I don't think we're going to play today because we're missing Jeannie and Malcolm. So we might just wrap a little while and reflect upon the Daniel Hale decision and things of that nature. So I'll drop it down to Kate or Plantifa.
That's me. I go by Plantifa here. My friends call me Katie, and usually I play a super, super hot elf, but I think we're going to give that a little bit of a rest for another week until we can have everybody with us. And I'm excited to, well, excited is probably not the right word to talk about Daniel Hale, but
Yeah.
yeah. We talked about him in class today.
TJ, Bob.
Yeah, what Plantifa just finished off with reminds me of a song. I think it's actually a cover or an adaptation Ryan Harvey did, where it starts off, "What did you learn in school today, dear child of mine?" And but the song that he sings is actually, I think it starts out completely opposite of learning about Daniel Hale. So yeah, that just popped in my head there. I am TJ. I am Bob. I am here. I am there. I am everywhere. I wish I was tripping now that I said all that stuff, but that just sent me into an existential crisis. I play Bob Barker, the half elf bard. If you can't tell by my rambling on here, that I think that's a very good attribute for a bard to have. Bards tend to ramble. But yeah, I'm kind of new to this D&D. Actually, I'm extremely new. This is my first ever campaign I've been involved with for D&D, but I'm a U.S. Navy veteran. Let me. There we go. I look prettier now. I'm a U.S. Navy veteran from 98 to 04, though I don't like that to define me, except for the fact that I try to use my privilege to gain access for those who don't enjoy the same privilege I do. So yeah, no, I'm stoned, so I'll keep rambling. What else do I need to say? Do I need to talk about my favorite childhood pet or something?
I think you could kick it off by talking about Dungeons and Dragons if you want.
Dungeons and Dragons. So yeah, like it's really cool. It's a great community building thing. It's what really drew me to Gamers for Peace, because the only other video game I really play and haven't played in quite some time is Fortnite. So yeah, like I was excited when I was invited to participate in this initiative from Veterans for Peace, because I'd never played Dungeons and Dragons before. So yeah, like but it kind of allows you operate as a team and a fantasy world, and you have a dungeon master who kind of narrates. I was actually, it's kind of funny that we're doing this because I was driving home this afternoon from a friend's house thinking about like what is Dungeons and Dragons, and I just remembered, like, as a kid loving those choose your own adventure books. And I kind of think of like the dungeon master as the person choosing your own adventure, but then there's another group of individuals on the campaign that we're the ones that, like, between the dungeon master and the party members, like, we're kind of playing against each other's thoughts and stuff. We're always, it's a fantasy world where we can play with trickery, we can play with ethics, and not really get in trouble for it, and try out different thoughts that we have. So yeah, that's I don't know, is that enough kind of talking about D&D? Plantifa, what do you have to say? You're smirking.
What do you mean smirking? I'm smiling. I don't know what you're referring to.
I want to know what that smile on your face is all about. You got a little bit of a Cheshire grin there.
Why? Am I not allowed to smile? This is another example to patriarchy.
Here we got the player's handbook, right? Like
more.
like a lot of this book is talking about how you like fight other things, but really most of it is like how to like create some sort of character that's not you. You get to run around in somebody else's body for a little while and experience things and like push your boundaries about, oh yeah, nice. Push your boundaries as far as just when people say, walk a mile in somebody else's shoes, like, whoa, the dog's barking at something. You get to do it through Dungeons and Dragons. And then half this book is actually magic spells, which is, I think, pretty cool. But one of the aspects I like about Dungeons and Dragons is that almost always you've got a group of heroes, vigilantes, or even anti-heroes that almost ultimately always fights some sort of tyranny, evil oppression, something. Even if your character is not necessarily like a good character, you always end up fighting these pricks because nobody wants to live under oppression, and nobody's gonna like tolerate being bullied and being taken advantage of. And I think that's a world lesson. You know what I mean? I probably became an activist and an organizer because I was conditioned by Dungeons and Dragons. I was always meant to be a paladin dad.
You fulfilled your destiny. Well, hello, we have a new person
Hello,
now.
I am Jules. I am good. I am the member coordinator for Veterans for Peace, and I am an Air Force veteran. And I, like Plantifa, am not excited to talk about Daniel Hell, but, it's something we should talk about,
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We can have a little fun talking about D&D
Yeah,
first,
sounds
though,
good.
if you would
Sounds
like.
great. I was actually just saying in the chat that TJ is very lucky to have Rep as his first ever DM. I did not, by the way, I had no idea this was your first ever campaign. You play like a natural, TJ.
Thank you.
And yeah, I have
Drink
had
more
some
beers.
far-
I'll turn into a natural 20 by the end of the night.
I have had some far more sadistic and unkind DMs in my day. So
That's rough.
Oh, hi, Moonstar, or is it multiple stars?
I think there are definitely several stars.
Lots of stars.
Well, hello. We're not doing the typical Broken Thorn, where because we didn't have enough of our players, so we're shooting the shit about how great D&D is for the moment.
It is pretty cool. My first time ever playing was when I was in Korea. So I did not play since I was a youngling, like Rep did, but I've enjoyed it for many years.
I like it. We got a group going at my house too, but it's about we can't get everybody together there either. So
yeah.
And that's all family.
One of the things that I really love, because my roommate Joe, he is a really good DM as well, and I love how it allows so much creativity. Like he created this campaign, and it's simplistic, but at the same time like fantastical. Like the first mission was finding an overdue book, but it's a super simplistic mission. But it wasn't that at all. It was like it was a rabbit hole of stuff, and it was awesome how creative that came out of it. And I like the idea of like Rep said, being able to jump into any other body and how creative that can be with your storytelling, especially if you have an open mind. And I think that's probably what I like about it most. Is it allows a lot of that creativity.
Mm-hmm.
I remember like my first DM being my cousin, an older cousin, and I was trying to convince him because I was having trouble with math, and he was high school teacher. I was trying to convince him to teach me like I think it was trig. We had to figure out like parabolas and things like that to teach me through D&D. And like because I just loved the math of D&D at the time. Like it was just like I loved playing D. I loved the role playing aspect and sitting there, and that kind of math made sense, and it was just a learning tool for me. But he didn't do that. But it became a way that I got to socialize and a huge community builder for me, which was absolutely amazing. And like I've had D&D friends throughout my life at various points, and happy that like I get to play D&D here with you guys is amazing, because I haven't had a good D&D game in a long time, and love this game, so can't be anything wrong with that at all, right?
Yeah, you can't beat that.
No.
Yeah, I definitely feel like the friendships that I have forged through D&D were definitely close friendships, because, you know, for one thing, in order to play out an entire campaign, you spend quite a fucking few hours together, you know? And so, and even though you are playing people who are not you get to know the actual person simply through the interaction and the reactions that they have to their own characters' reactions, you know?
Yeah, it's you know, if you play in a weekly game, you know, you're investing sometimes 5-6 hours a week with this crew of people. You know, getting to know them around the table, like sharing snacks and food, and like you know, there's water cooler talk, and you get to know folks and their families and stuff about them, and then you get to play. And half the games are like side conversations and jokes where you end up laughing for a half an hour, forgetting to play, and then trying to get back.
Exactly.
You know? I mean, that stuff's just a blast, and it is a community, and it's social. It builds social skills, and it's not, you know, it's. I think introverts and extroverts can get a lot out of it, and you know, it really is just for everybody, and you're like, it's like you know, your collaborative storytelling. You know, that's super cool. Like to like, you know,
that's one of the most ancient forms of communication in all of this planet.
Yeah. So to do it around a table and like make up these epic stories with other people that like throw their creativity in this big mixing bowl, you know, and you come out with like, you know, I have all these ideas that I think where it might go, but like I enjoy the sandbox. So if somebody has an idea of like, hey, I want to go do this thing, like I'm like, all right, let's do it. Like let's see what happens. Like I try to say no as little as possible.
I like to try and get you.
You are the bard.
I'm trying to turn those yeses into nos.
There's a podcast called the RPG Academy. Those folks are pretty good if you're into that sort of thing. Getting into the meta stuff about you know, role-playing games and tabletop. And one of their philosophies is called "Yes, there's a goddamn chandelier." And you know, if a player, if you're fighting in a tavern and the player is like, man, I want to swing from the chandelier. Is there a chandelier? Well, there is now. I mean, if I say no, you don't get to swing from the chandelier. You know, like that
reminds me of finding that piano the other night.
So
that started a whole night's worth of fun. Me playing the piano, walking into the building.
So yeah, there was a piano. Yes, there was a scaffolding or a ladder. You know, all those things I didn't pre-create. I was just like, if you want there to be one, yeah. Like in my games, a lot of my players get used to it so much that they're like, I'm gonna grab that bucket in the hallway. Well, I didn't describe a bucket, but now there is one because they just said they grabbed it. You know,
yeah, knowing that about you as a DM lets me imaginatively create my environment.
Right.
You know,
that's where the collaboration just starts really flowing and getting nuts. And I think it's easier, like when we did the one shot with the goblins, it's easier because you automatically feel like less restrictive because you're not looking at this big character with these numbers and stats and things, and you could just kind of let it go a little bit. Not to say that there's a lot of good things about that too, because folks like to see their character develop and grow and build powers, and you get those skills and those combos, and that's a fun element to it too. So it's hard, like people just play for different reasons. Some people like the strategy and tactics, and some people like the character acting. Some people like a little bit of everything.
D&D's always a good time.
You could even bring up social injustice issues. Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes,
You
can.
Into the world meta.
Yeah. Like in this game, it's weird having part of the storyline is around these war puppets, which are basically like drones. I don't know if we want to get into the heavy topic of Daniel Hale, but it's definitely weighing on me.
Yeah.
45 months, almost 4 years in prison. Probably serve a little less than that when it all comes down to it, but we're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Roger Stone probably spent less time in prison.
Fuck.
Paul Manafort.
God, I fucking hate that guy.
General Petraeus, who was referenced multiple times in the courtroom.
General Betrayus, you mean?
Yeah, Betrayus.
Oh my God. That is a great play on words that I've never heard, and it's 100% perfect.
Oh, I just figured everybody said that.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, you just cannot.
Talking to us, Plantify, but still muted.
Yes, but what I said doesn't matter.
Say something else that does.
Nothing can follow that laugh.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry. Keep it going. One of my favorite parts when I used to go to yoga all the time was at the end, he would always finish off with laughing yoga. And have us start out roaring like lions and then laughing like hyenas.
That's so awesome.
What's Moonstar doing out there? Just laughing at us, probably.
Guaranteed.
That's what I'd be doing.
Yeah.
We need to have like a call-in line. Like this could be like Love Line or something.
Let us give you advice on how to proceed in your campaign. Got a weird elf who just won't shut the fuck up? Ask us. We can help.
Oh my goodness. Shit.
Who are you talking about, Jules?
I have no idea. I don't know. I just made that up. So
we had to fight for the elf, right?
Did you?
Yeah, who else was it? Wasn't it you, Kate, that wanted to be the elf? Was it you somebody else wanted to be an elf or a bard or something?
Well, Plantifa's character is an elf.
Oh, I am an elf. Yeah, I am an elf. I have Boxcrog, the little goblin, with me though.
Yeah. Boxcrog.
Such a good name.
He grew on me, okay?
Such a good name.
That slimy little sticky
Slimy.
dude.
That was funny. That scene was funny. Oh, the tickling scene.
Oh,
I've never thought about tickling the same since.
No.
Between consent and slime.
Oh man. Well, I got to throw all my crazy NPCs into this game.
Can't wait.
I got Seymour in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seymour cracks me up every time. Oh man.
Seymour's everybody's. When
Yeah,
you start
exactly.
like I notice it every single time. Bjorny gets just consistently more Boston as the night goes on. With each interaction with Seymour, Bernie just gets like gravelly Boston. It's all it is. Like I can't help it. I just take on Seymour's accent. I'm just like, oh god, this is horrible.
I had a really good NPC lined up for tonight.
Aww.
Somebody
we'll have to wait.
super fun that you will encounter next time.
Nice.
Well, are we gonna do some D&D while we're in person?
Man, I mean, we can try to do something, I imagine.
Like, because I'm sure we're gonna be all tired of talking business and stuff too. So
yeah,
it depends on what night, because like I know there are some people who aren't making it until Friday or Saturday, but Saturday is going to be like a crazy fucking day. We have so much going that day. So
what if we finish off with the like little one shot or something that Saturday night? Would that work?
Oh,
yeah, it'd be
maybe.
pretty fun.
We'll see what happens. I'm
Yeah.
willing to stay up super late and
yeah.
Well, I figure
too.
we're probably gonna be doing that anyway.
yeah.
Yeah. Dave will be out by the pool like, where are all the nerds?
we can play Dungeons and Dragons right there at the pool.
In the pool.
Yes, I love it.
And I'm working on my pool bod right now too.
Oh, nice.
All bodies are pool bodies, FYI.
Yeah.
The pool is getting whatever body I'm gonna have at the time. I'm not doing anything.
I mean, the only reason
Sorry,
I'm
pool.
working on it is because the VA doctor is only a few weeks away from putting me on blood pressure, cholesterol, and diabetes medicines.
Get your fish pills, man.
I'm a vegetarian now. I'm pretty much a vegan. So
Yikes.
So you won't do the fish oil pills?
nah.
You tell them no.
I don't need all that extra stuff anyway. I've got it all stored right here. I'm working it off.
Yeah. Authority Zero's helping you out.
Man, I can't get down to them like I used to.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've listened to some albums recently and I was just like, yeah, not doing it for me.
Oh, I just meant me in the pit.
Oh, why not?
I'm too old now. Like I don't know. Maybe losing this weight, I'll feel a little bit better, but I don't know. I don't foresee me getting crazy in the pit. Oh, guess who's coming playing like the bar that I used to book and run sound at? Strike Any or no, they're not. No, they're not playing there. That's right. We're trying to get Reagan Youth there, but Strike Anywhere and Good Riddance are coming to our area. Not that bar though.
Strike Anywhere's Richmond band.
Yeah.
So yeah,
they're pretty much a local band for me.
Right. Awesome though.
Yeah, no, yeah. I've actually seen, or does he Strike Anywhere or one of their other bands or something in there?
I think we're leaving out our friends, our punk rock.
Oh yeah, y'all aren't punk rocking with us.
I do punk rock, but I don't know those bands, so it's all good.
Yeah, we're going into like the deep cuts here.
Punk is more of a state of mind.
I'm with Katie. I'm with Katie.
Yeah.
See, it's a way of life for me. That reminds me. So this kind of coincides with the military too. So right when I got out of boot camp, I was running around Chicago with this group of like old school like Oi traditional skinheads and all. And so one of my first books I read as a young adult, and it's not YA, it's probably MA, but was Spirit of 69, which kind of gives you the history of like the skinhead, like the real skinhead movement, like the anti-racist skinhead movement. And but I found that digging through the shed the other day. I was excited. I might have to sit down and read that.
Nice. Yeah, it's interesting, the like anti-racist kind of backbone in punk music. Nazi punks, fuck off, and all that. You know, like I remember going to shows specifically to get in fights with Nazi kids. You know, we'd go to their shows and get in fights, and they'd come to our shows and get in fights, and that's just the way it was, you know. Yeah, it's interesting.
We almost got in a fight with Anti-Flag when they played Chicago when I was fresh out of boot camp.
Oh yeah,
and now they're one of my all-time favorite bands.
Did Justin piss you off?
All his preachiness from the stage, but now I love it.
Oh, you're on a first name basis.
Yeah,
I can, yeah, like actually that was another thing I found was I did an interview with Pat for the 10-year anniversary of I guess September 11th in 2001, and I found that recording from my radio show. Maybe I should bring that out for the 20th anniversary this year. And re-release it, but yeah, no, and actually Justin does, he thanks me every time he hears me telling that story. Like, he's like, thank you for hating us when you were fresh out of boot camp, and thank you for coming around.
Yeah, I reached out to him and asked him to promote the fuck war stuff, and he did. So they reposted all that stuff.
That's cool. Yeah, that's a pretty cool crew there. I've always enjoyed them. And then, like, so we can get off of the punk rock thing, we can kind of talk about pop stars that support us too, or even country stars, because I've seen Nathaniel Rateliff is on tour, and he did our fundraiser last year.
Yep.
I don't know him, and I love country music, so I'm surprised.
He's not country. He's like blues rock.
Yeah, but it's like it's like in the vein of like those like off Nashville guys like Hank 3 and
that's true.
I don't know if y'all know Wayne Hancock or guys like that, but I mean he's more like progressive than those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's really hard for progressive people to make it in mainstream country because so much of the culture is very, very conservative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then Michael Franti is celebrating anniversary of the album Yell Fire, which I'm sure Garrett can speak to that more because that's more Garrett's era. That's right before I got really heavy into all this stuff.
Oh, so you're passing it over to the old man? Is that what you're saying?
Michael Franti is a good dude.
I tabled at his shows for IVAW a few times.
Nice.
The way we met, he contacted me out of the blue. Like he got a hold of me because he heard that I was anti-war vet living in DC, and they wanted to tour Walter Reed and felt weird about it because they're obviously like progressive as all hell and didn't know, how well they'd fit in. So, and I had done it similarly with Tom Morello. So I think like somebody told them and they got a hold of us. But so check this out. We tour Walter Reed, and they get me crying. Like Michael Franti just pulls up a chair in every single room, pulls up a chair and plays a different song in every single room to every single veteran. So I'm like, okay, like I'm in the VA for like 2 hours with Michael Franti listening to a concert because he's playing different songs in every room. I'm like, man,
amazing.
Nobody's right, nobody wrong. That he played that song in this room, and this kid was like, I mean, he was covered head to toe, like peppered in like shrapnel, and his jaw was wired. He had the big fucking metal cage on his head and like screws through his legs. And like, I mean, this dude just crying like through the whole song. I'm crying. I'm like, oh my God. It was pretty emotional. And I don't know if you know this about Michael Franti, but he doesn't wear shoes. He never wears shoes.
Like ever?
Never.
He wanted to touch the earth more with his feet.
Yeah. So we're trying to get in the hospital. They won't let him in because he's not wearing shoes. So he was like, well, I'll go out and get shoes. And the band was like, what? You never do this. Like if you can't go in a place and without shoes, you just never go in. It's like, I'm going to make an exception. I'm going to go get shoes so I can go to Walter Reed. So I was like, this is amazing.
That's really cool.
So his band is called Spearhead. And on the way out, there's the big, what is it? Army First Armor. It's called Spearhead. There's a big banner, like Spearhead banner. It's like, whoa, look at that. So I got a photo somewhere with Michael Fronte under the Spearhead banner.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool dude. I always like hanging out with him. I got to hang out with him about 3 years in a row here in Norfolk, and yeah, like anytime I'd reach out to him, he'd always respond. You know, that's part of his commitment to the peace movement, I guess. But yeah, that's awesome that he toured with y'all through Walter Reed like that.
See if I could find this. I'm gonna try to find this. Y'all can get an idea of like how heavy it is to hear this song being sung to an individual wounded soldier. It was pretty wild.
I've got a picture of me trying to keep something that's smoking out of the frame with me and his guitarist. I mean, I guess I can say it about, because yeah, like it's a joint. I can say it about him.
What?
Because he Michael Fronte's always about smoking some weed.
Sorry, y'all.
Actually, he told me he got tired of smoking weed at one point in his life.
Only one?
Well, it was because his tour manager had also been the manager for the Marleys, so he made sure he had a joint in his hand from the time he woke up to the time he went in his rack on the bus.
Oh, wow.
That's hilarious.
See, you got to choose your side when it's done. Nobody right, nobody wrong. It ended in a great big fight, and when it's done, nobody right, nobody wrong. Conflict each and every day, at home and in the streets and in my soul in every way. It's hard to keep the faith and I feel so far away. Times I feel connected, times I'm running away. But whoa, whoa, can't you see all the sickness, hunger, and poverty? War on the land and a war in the seas. Whoa, war is a painful thing, but the one argument none of us can't hide is the one that's raging down deep inside. Trying to make a point of half the last word, but most of the time people just trying to be heard. So you got to choose your side, and when it's done,
Hold on, before we get DMCA'd.
nobody wrong, nobody right now.
Oh yeah, I guess we should start talking over it or something, huh?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if his music is though. He might not have his like that.
It won't matter. It's more about Twitch. Twitch will go on the safe side regardless.
Yeah.
And he'll end up muting most of the stream.
Going back to Justin saying, when I was talking to him one time at the Norva here in Norfolk, he even told me to like download his shit, like his solo stuff. He's like, I know you can find it online. Don't even try and buy it. But Michael's kind of the same way. I've seen a lot of bootlegs from veterans, especially VFP members. VFP and IVAW members, I guess, would always get, if they'd go see Michael, they'd get some cool bootlegs and stuff that he'd give them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, we've had some amazing people support the movement for sure. I think there's always like the movement always has a cool soundtrack in the background, that's for sure. I think all these artists are really moved by what we're doing, and I think get involved and gives them credibility in what they're doing and singing about. They put their feet, put their fists where their mouth is, I guess.
Mhm.
That's not the right term. That sounds like you're punching them in the face. Not what I meant.
That song
They-
would support
they-
just war theory.
Yeah, right. Nobody right, nobody wrong.
Yeah.
Ended up in a great big fight. When it's done, nobody right, nobody wrong.
I'll tell you though, a lot of those people that do support us, you know, like you said, they put their fist where their mouth is, and you know, they do come out and they do you know, you were talking about asking for some support about a campaign VFP had not too long ago, and that's Veterans for Peace, which Gamers for Peace is an initiative of Veterans for Peace. For more information, please check out our website, veteransforpeace.org. But yeah, like they like, you know, you ask them to amplify something on social, or you ask them to Nathaniel Rateliff, you ask them to come in and do a video for us, perform for us virtually, you know. So yeah, it's really cool. And then like I've actually seen, you know, back in the day where they would do these little like 20-person shows for like, you know, Iraq Veterans Against the War or Veterans for Peace, or some of these smaller orgs, Military Families Speak Out or whatever, and it'd just be like an intimate setting with just like whoever was there for that event. And so that's really cool too, I think, about, you know, getting the support, because a lot of times, you know, you see people's name, or you see somebody trying to save the damn dogs on, you know, your court TV or whatever, and what are they really doing? But these people actually show up, I think.
Yeah.
I haven't had any opportunities like that yet. I mean, I met Gary Sinise. Because Gary
Nice.
Sinise partners with DAV a lot. But love to see punk shows and things in the near future. Never been to one.
I want to hang out with Ed Asner myself. I mean, what's that like, Garrett?
I don't even know, man.
Oh, you've never met him?
He's on our advisory board, but I've never met him.
That's like when I was involved with Drug Policy Alliance. Bono was on the advisory board, but I mean, I'm assuming he gave a lot of money, but that was probably about it. And
What about Edge?
Edge? Nah,
No.
he's too edgy. He's too busy trying to figure out which pedal to push next. Have you ever seen his pedal board? It's insane. It's like,
why would I have seen that?
Because
You
like
can see it in concerts, you know, like it just depends on where the camera is, but
Yeah.
it is pretty fucking sick.
I've watched documentaries about it. Like, yeah, like he has to walk around sometimes to get to certain pedals on it.
Okay. A lot of stuff.
Yeah, guitar players and their pedals. It's like this one's just like a little bit higher pitched, so it's like totally different, and it's like exactly the same.
This one goes up to 11.
That's what I was
Exactly.
thinking.
Exactly.
Big Spinal Tap fans.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes. General Christopher Guest fan over
Yeah.
here. I've seen them all.
All right. Cool. Mighty Wind. What are best in show?
Waiting for Guffman.
Oh,
Waiting for Guffman is probably my favorite just because
Yeah.
I'm a theater kid.
Got it.
But they're all very good.
Uh-huh.
It's just a really wonderful group of improvians. And you know, they've been working together for so many years. That's one of the things that makes a great improv troupe is people who've been working together for a really long time and, you know how to go places together.
Those movies aren't improv, are they?
A lot of them are. They have like general directions of like what's supposed to happen in a scene, but a lot of the time, especially like the interviews a lot of that stuff is improv.
That's awesome.
Right?
We were just talking about how some folks here are movie people, and I said I only like bad movies.
I didn't come here to be called out.
I'm a big fan of like Schadenfreude movies where you're just like, this is so terrible. It's awesome.
I was talking about that today with Adam Sandler's first ever movie. It's called Going Overboard. There's one that's called Overboard that's actually not too bad, I don't think, but Going Overboard.
Okay, Overboard. Look back at it now. When's the last time you saw that film? Was it before you became a feminist? Because if you look back at it, you might think it's really fucking horrible.
Who was in Overboard?
Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn.
Okay, no, that doesn't sound like that's in my genre wheelhouse anyway.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here.
It is so in my wheelhouse. I love Kurt Russell so much. It's pathetic. I love him.
Escape from New York, man.
I have a guess though. It does not pass the Bechdel test.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Just a guess.
Like it's in the same realm as was it Nerds?
I mean, it's not as bad as that. What happens is a lady, this rich bitch who he was working for, like building a closet for, because he's a carpenter. He's a poor person and she is a rich person. She goes overboard, loses her memory, and he has a friend doctor a bunch of photos of her and convinces her that she is his wife, and she just has amnesia, and then proceeds to lie to her for the entire film. Of course, in the end, she realizes she loved him. So there you go.
Yes, so the manipulation is totally fine.
Exactly.
Abusers are people too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Every Hollywood movie ever.
Mm-hmm. But isn't the like predatorial nature endearing on some people?
As I've heard a lot lately, it's human nature. It's just natural. That's the way of things.
Oh, like war also supernatural. Can't do anything about it, right? Like, what are we gonna do? End war? Like, that's impossible.
Because
right?
every other animal wants to annihilate its own species.
Yeah, exactly.
And others.
Exactly.
Along with it.
Right. Yeah.
I used to think that like, well, there's nothing you can do. War just happens. Except no, it doesn't. It's not natural. And I don't understand why I believed that for such a long time. Probably, indoctrination.
Well, that's was that Hobbes and the Leviathan? That's the natural state of mankind is being cruel and taking advantage and warring and fighting.
Right, but Hobbes had a lot of reasons to believe that. He was in like positions of power. Basically he wanted to justify his own like benefit of like monarchy.
Right.
So I'm gonna take it with a grain of salt here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to make lots of war, so I'm going to come up with lots of philosophies for why war is good and why we can't avoid it.
And
that's what that
why,
sounds like.
Why you need to obey the monarch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like there's archaeological evidence that shows that like Crete and Minoa were completely like pacifist partnership-based societies that didn't have foreign nations until much later.
Were you there?
So,
Were you there, Sin? Did you see it with your eyes? Because I don't believe it.
Yeah, because how long in the grand scheme of things has capitalism and industrialism been happening? Like maybe that much? About that much?
I mean, it replaced feudalism.
Our culture,
much better.
Not that much. Our culture, not that much. Capitalism, industrialism.
Okay, are you really repeating yourself or is my Zoom skipping? I can't tell.
I'm just really stoned. Don't mind me. I'll be right back, by the way. I've got to go take a quick break.
Okie dokie.
This is brought to you by Indica and Sativa.
At the same time.
So I think Overboard is actually a good analogy for like the war on patriarchy, because like isn't that the whole thing, right? At some point, like dude figured out how to con women, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
It so often feels that way.
hey guys, this Mother Earth stuff is getting a little out of hand. Maybe it's time we take over. We're tough. We're strong.
Yeah, and we saw how that worked out. So
Yeah, here we are murdered.
here we are.
Throwing Daniel Hale in jail.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
No,
Fuck. I'm sorry, he's gonna go for 4 years.
Yeah, 45 months.
Almost.
45 months with time served for how long he's been incarcerated awaiting his sentencing.
How long was Al in jail?
Who?
Al, the Santa Claus guy.
Oh shoot, I keep forgetting. I want to say 7 years.
Wow.
But we'll have to talk to Al about it.
Yeah, for sure. Like that just like these people, they fucking blow me away that they are willing to give up their freedom to do what's right. I mean, shit, most people won't give up, the inconvenience of wearing a fucking mask to do what's right. But these people are willing to go to jail. Like, these are the heroes that we should be worshiping,
Yeah. I'm going to bring it back to D&D for a second.
Please.
The cathedral in the D&D game is called St. Franz.
Mm-hmm.
And I named it after Franz Jägerstatter, who is an individual that resists being recruited and drafted by the Nazis.
Oh, wow.
And was eventually out of a lot of hardships and resistance, was eventually murdered for it by the Nazis.
Wow.
But he's, in my opinion, a saint. By others,
yeah,
a saint for a lot of the resistance. But it's a good story if you're into Cool War resistance stories. But yeah, I mean, here's a person that was murdered.
Yeah.
It's like, you have a choice. We're either going to kill you or join the Nazi army. Oh,
yeah.
I'll die. Thanks for the choice.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, humanist, like the ultimate humanist there, I think. I don't know the proper word that would fit in for that, like, this adherence to recognizing human life in resisting, like, to the point of termination or being terminated,
Yeah.
Amazing.
Brings to mind the Catholic workers for me.
Which Catholic workers?
All of them. But for me in Norfolk, it's Steve Baggerly. I don't know if y'all know who he is or not, but every time I'm hanging around him and like, normally if I'm at, out protesting or something locally, I'm hanging around him. Like, he tells me some crazy story. Like, we were at a like Food Not Bombs, just like neighborhood food share at a friend's house, and he was hanging out because they were right around the corner. And somebody mentioned the movie Con Air. Speaking of bad movies, and Steve just looks up when everybody's done talking, and he says, "I flew on the real Con Air once." And like, yeah, like, and it was him and one of the Berrigan brothers, and he said, and yeah, you could just imagine like about 30 dudes standing there with like guns, M16s and 9mm and stuff, protecting two Catholic workers that were like lifelong pacifists. but yeah, he's like telling us like about like the experience on the real Con Air. I'm like, this dude is such a badass, because like they were just being transferred between federal prisons or whatever, but they had to fly them instead of bus them. But yeah, like it did. Yeah, like, and then like they were telling us a story about some people that they had been helping that a guy had been shipped away back across the border, and his daughter was graduating high school like 2,000 miles away. So like he finally got his hearing in court, in immigration court, to stay in the country. Like he'd been in the country for like 9 or 10 years working. And yeah, like so they went all the way across the country and drove back and made it back like the day of or the day before the daughter's high school graduation. And yeah, it's like that's what more people, especially religious people, need to be like, or work
Yeah.
towards. Because like before I got involved in the peace movement, like when I thought about Catholics, I thought about kitty diddling and church scandals and all that kind of stuff. But then I meet these cool Catholics like we're talking about here that actually, I can get down with and Steve, I think when Steve was talking about that federal time he was doing, it was for like, climbing on a nuclear bomb at a site or something and putting red paint on it or throwing red paint on the doors. And yeah, like so yeah, it's like yeah, that's life just needs to be full of more religious stories like that, I think.
Yep.
I think the thing about Catholic workers too, it's not just performative activism. Also, they live a life of like service to each other and to people. And like Jules, you should talk to Colleen about Catholic workers because she was one. That's kind of how she entered into a lot of this work. But
she was a Catholic. She was
worker.
a Catholic worker.
Yeah, it's a very specific capital C, capital W Catholic workers.
Interesting.
And I mean, they do incredible stuff. And a lot of them aren't even Catholic, but they're the Catholic workers. And I'm pretty much atheist, agnostic. Like I think it's hard to like disprove there's a God as much as prove there's a God. But either way, like I want a giant print of the Last Supper, because if you are gathering with your friends to have a meal at like 2 a.m. outside the outskirts of a city, you're planning on overthrowing the government. I don't care. That's what you're up to. That's what they're up to. And I want that painting on my wall because
that you're about to go and fuck some shit up and you're having one more night of peace before you go do it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You're about
That's a really cool way to look at that. I like that.
I mean, they were organizers, they were activists.
Wow.
And I think that here's another movie reference. The Life of Brian is the best the best depiction of activism ever.
I don't even remember the last time I saw that movie. I have to see that again.
When they're in the Coliseum arguing about like gender identities and like which organization has a better name, and like it's just like this is the world of activism.
It taught me as much about politics in general as my like 101 politics, like political theory classes for my major taught me. Like about the same.
Well, that was my thing.
Yeah, man.
I had been organizing for about 5 years or so before I went into college. So like when I went into college and I'm studying all this, like my undergrad is public relations with a concentration in advocacy and persuasion. And I'm like, that wouldn't work out in the real world. What the hell are you talking about? That's not how you do it.
Let's see some application of this. Come on. I want to use this stuff immediately.
Oh gosh, yeah. Now I'm trying to write a thesis on the Poor People's Campaign. That's hard work right there, because shit keeps changing. Speaking of other good religious folk, but Catholic workers are also involved in Poor People's Campaign.
Yeah, I've worked with Poor People's Campaign in San Antonio, and they're really cool. As a matter of fact,
don't y'all have a big march going on right now
in San Antonio?
Well, I can't remember where they were marching from, like Georgetown to Austin or something in Texas.
Oh, yeah. I haven't
Yeah.
heard about it. But I was supposed to do my first ever like traveling for activism thing with Poor People's Campaign, and then COVID fucked that shit up.
Actually, Poor People's Campaign was the last traveling I did before COVID fucked shit up. They were doing their college fellows training in DC in March of last year, and I came up to give a little talk about like kind of how narrative and storytelling works and organizing work and like advocacy work and stuff. And yeah, and like I remember like I went home, and then the next weekend we went on lockdown in Virginia.
Wow.
So yeah, and like, but I mean, like, it was kind of cool because that was also my first time getting to actually like meet one-on-one Reverend Barber, because he was walking through the crowd as I had to get up and go to the bathroom or something. And
Wow.
I think I got to have a hug with it. He was like the last random ass stranger that I hugged. Not that he's a stranger, but
Yeah.
if you've ever been in a room with Reverend Barber or seen him speak, you'd understand why I say that. But yeah, and then but yeah, like so no, but yeah, I love working with Poor People's Campaign, like, and I'm glad, you know, like that's kind of one of the things that helped draw me a little bit more into Veterans for Peace too, like recently, is because of the activity I saw, like kind of working more with Veterans for Peace and Poor People's Campaign. So yeah, like I like how everything just kind of comes together, and you know, like groups like that like listen to us, like they're not just all like, oh, we know that what anti-war is and all, like we don't need to hear from y'all, like I don't know, a lot of I feel like that happens with a lot of our own comrade veteran groups. I feel like I don't know, maybe Sen has some experiences like that maybe hit there somewhere.
Actually, so coming into Gamers for Peace and Veterans for Peace is my first organizing. Like
Well, no, I'm talking about like DAV, VFW, American Legion, stuff like that. Like a lot of those places don't tend to be as friendly towards this as some of these religious groups do.
I mean, I didn't see how the religious groups interacted with that. I mean, I was locked inside the VBA building, the Veteran Benefits like Administration building, and helping veterans day in day out. And when you're first starting in that role with DAV, you know, you're really focused on learning some really good skills. I love the Beholder, dude. Love the Beholder.
I didn't mean to distract you.
No, dude, I love the Beholder. What is it? A dog toy Beholder, or what is it?
It is. I don't know. It's just like a little stress squishy thing. It is 9:00 Eastern time
already.
Yeah. So we definitely carried on for a little while.
Yeah, we obviously did.
You gave us free roam, and now you're upset that we ran away.
Not at all, but I am good.
I had fun.
Yeah, me too.
I'm glad it was a chill day.
Yeah.
I feel stoneder than when I started.
Well, we're gonna do some stuff at the VFP convention around Daniel Hale. I think we're gonna fit in a panel, and we're gonna try to do a letter writing workshop so you could write a letter directly to Daniel Hale at the convention. But we'll try to do some other things and some actions and get involved as we can.
Remember when you were deployed and you got letters from all those school children? Wouldn't it be wonderful if we organized school children to be writing letters to people like Daniel Hale?
It'd be amazing. So talking about writing letters that Daniel Hale, I want to share a quote from something he said yesterday, in his sentencing hearing, and it was absolutely amazing hearing him say this. I am here because I stole something that was never mine to take, precious human life. For that, I was compensated and given a medal. I couldn't keep living in a world in which people pretend pretended that things weren't happening that were. Please, Your Honor, forgive me for taking papers instead of human lives. There's a couple other quotes. I'm looking forward to the transcript coming out and being able to take his entire speech. It was amazing. And on the topic of letters, Daniel Hale's birthday is Monday, or is August 1st. Sunday. You can send Daniel birthday wishes. He loves getting letters. He's had very limited contact with books or any type of media. He was put in solitary due to his mental health, amongst other things during his. Yeah. So at various points, you can help support Daniel by writing to him directly. Here's information on how to write to Daniel. But right now, you're supposed to follow these instructions. Hopefully, coming up soon, he'll be able to start getting packages and books. He's a big reader, from what I was told, and would appreciate getting some books once he could start getting them. So, here's information on screen for him.
Yeah, and come
Can
out.
we get that onto the Discord somewhere, Sid?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll get that on Discord. I'll post those in just a few moments.
And we're going to be out at Creech Air Force Base September 26th through October 2nd, which is Creech Air Force Base is called the home of the hunters. It's where a lot of the foreign drone missions are being operated. So they're literally going to a base that's 45 minutes outside of Las Vegas, grabbing Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts on the way, murdering people all day, and then going home and sleeping at night. So we're going to stand out in front of the gates at dusk and at dawn, holding vigils, trying to reach to soldiers and service members, asking them to stop and to try to, if we can, throw up some blockades every once in a while and see how long we can stop people from entering the base, because if we can close it down for 15 minutes, that's 15 minutes of people that aren't being killed somewhere in the world. So we'll be out there in Creech doing that, and you're welcome to get in contact with Veterans for Peace and sign up and come out with us. We'll be sleeping in tents and at the Sacred Temple of Feminism out there in Indian Springs, Nevada. So come on out. It should be a cheap and fun stay, and we'll be doing some righteous activism. So
dope.
Absolutely. Looking forward to going to that. You can also follow this Twitter account at Team Daniel Hale, Daniel Hale's support team. Follow them for more information and updates, and I'm posting that in Discord.
all right, y'all. We got funny, we got serious, we did it all. Time to say goodnight.
Kind of proud of us.
2 weeks we will do some D&D, rain or shine. I'll try to get an inventory of who's playing, and we'll play. If it's just me pretending to be everybody on camera, I'm gonna do it.
I'll still watch. I will 100% watch that.
Don't incentivize not showing up just for that. Don't tempt me.
Have more watchers than people on Zoom.
Sock puppets.
It'd be epic if you splice your screen so each one is a different Zoom window. Also,
oh my god,
it'd be amazing.
He's got a different camera for each character.
Rep is literally his own Brady Bunch.
What for a one-person stream? I'll need you, Haas, all the tech support.
Oh my god, that'd be
team.
Incredibly bad. I would love it so much.
Amazing.
All right, friends. Lots of
love.
love.
Peace, y'all.
Good night.
Drink water.
Good night. Love y'all.
Peace.
Bye.